Okay guys, this is not the loaf that I'm going to be making. In my first part of this video, I went a little overboard and had an epic fail. Totally forgot to put eggs in. And I'm just going to show it to you because basically I'm really just trying out this new Kodak camera that I showed you in my last video that I bought at Walmart. And so I'm going to fast forward a lot. Don't pay any attention to the first part of this for the recipe. The last part of it turned out epically well. No spoilers. No spoiler. Alright, hang in there and you'll find out if it's any good. Hello, Grandma DC here. And this is my first recording with my new Kodak camera. So I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. It is about 6:45 in the morning and I woke up with this horrible headache. And I thought, I slept too much after being awake for 48 hours, I think it was. And I had a craving for caraway pumpernickel bread. Let me bribe the chicken. Hang on. Well, apparently bribery was not accepted. Let me start over. I woke up with a craving for pumpernickel bread. 'Tis the season. And I thought usually I might try something like this first, but you might as well see the brain process of what goes on. So I know the ingredients in pumpernickel bread are cocoa, caraway seeds, and molasses, basically, okay? So I went and found my old Red Star yeast. I don't know if it's dead. It probably is. I haven't used it in a long time, but it still smells like yeast, and I'm going to put a teaspoon in some warm water. I'm going to try to activate it. If not, at least this will give us the flavor, okay? I'm also going to put some baking powder in there just in case it does not raise or it's dead. We'll find out here in a minute. The first thing I'm going to throw in is 1 cup of pork rinds, ground up. Of course, everyone knows me. I'm going to put in 1 cup of almond flour. This is a 1/2 cup measure. Y'all know, I just assume you've been in my house often, you just help yourself and you know the measurements, but you know what, you might just be new to my channel. Blessings, welcome to the insanity. Okay, so 1 cup of almond flour, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of oat fiber. Fiber, 6:30 in the morning, not that thought. That's typical. Okay, I've been wanting to use up my oat fiber anyway. So 1 cup of oat fiber. Now, here's an extra additive you don't have to add, but I happen to have this vital wheat gluten. There are a few people that are allergic to gluten, by the way, but I'm just wondering if the yeast is not dead, or the bread might need a little stretch. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of vital wheat gluten. You can leave that out and just adjust your moisture. Of course, we're going to put in salt. My grandmother says bread is no good without salt. Teaspoon. Not critical. Okay. And I am going to mix this all together. Now, some of you are now asking at this point, Grandma, where did you get that bowl? Well, I got it off of eBay. But I think they probably have them at Amazon. I could check and look for you. If I find it, I might link it below if I remember. Yeah, how bad I am about that. But this is a Japanese, I want to say crock. That's not, it's too early to think of words. Okay. Clay, Japanese clay cooker.
And I went through this phase of doing natural things. I didn't want any more aluminum pans or, you know, that stuff that flakes off is nonstick. So, you know, you go through these phases in your life. And so I got these clay cooking, and I actually love them. I had them in the back of my thing, so. I know someone asked me today, they said, Grandma, are you okay? I wanted to answer it. I'm never okay. Yeah. So.
Anyway, I think our yeast is dead. I don't see any bubbling. That's okay. What is it? 1/4 cup of water with the teaspoon of yeast. I'm just going to dump it in there. And now most pumpernickel bread calls for molasses. We're not going to use molasses, but we are going to use this fiber syrup, Sukrin, sugar-free, perfect for yogurt. Don't know why that would be perfect for yogurt, but like I said, it's expensive, and a lot of people use it around the holidays. I think maybe, you know, that would be the thing. I'm just going to put a tablespoon in here, and merely for that sort of molassesy flavor.
And possibly the texture that it will help with, because it will make the bread denser, which is what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to throw in my caraway seeds. I like the taste of caraway, especially in pumpernickel, so I'm going to put in a level tablespoon of them. They stuck to the Sukrin gold. That's okay. I have a scraper made just for that purpose. Strike my finger. It's a banger if you live around here. I'm going to stir this all up, and I'm going to add a bit of water to it, and I'll be right back.
I got a cup of warm water, and I almost forgot the most vital ingredient in any good pumpernickel, and that is cocoa powder. I don't want it to taste like chocolate. I just want a little of that cocoa flavor in there. If you have regular cocoa powder, I would put it in like a teaspoon. And that gives it that richness and that depth of flavor. And like I said, because my yeast seems to be dead, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of double-acting baking powder. That's right, I don't measure anything critically. Baking is not critical. There's some baker out there pulling his hair out saying, "Sacre bleu! She says such a thing. She said baking was not critical." Off with her head.
Now I'm going to stir this all together. I think we have all of our flavorings in here and all of our things. I made the water warm just in case there's any living yeast in there. I don't want to kill it. So I'm going to add a cup of water. I'm going to add a couple of other things to this pumpernickel bread too, just to healthy it up. I may add more water if I need it. And it looks like I might need it. I would like to put in some chia seeds and some flaxseed because I have.
Now here's a cool thing, just to tell you how these recipes they involve my brain somewhat, but they do evolve also as I go. I have my my healthy flaxseed I'm going to put in there. We're going to make this a pretty seedy bread. I want it to be like an artisan type bread. I found some rye berries, some organic rye berries. You know, I buy this stuff and I stick it aside inside of containers and I forget about it. And then one day, magically, it reappears. And I like rye bread. And I like pumpernickel. What could be better than pumpernickel rye? Okay, there we go. And this is how, you know, you flavor your zero nearly carb. I just put a half a teaspoon in there, just a sprinkle. Because I know rye berries have a little bit of carb in them. We're going to go for another cup of water. Ooh, it feels like Play-Doh. There you go. There's a consistency for you. Now you're all going, Play-Doh. All right. I am going to...
I think 2 cups of water is about perfect, actually. And it has that sort of Play-Doh consistency. I'm going to let this sit with the cover on for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and we will see how it looks. And I would like to put it into the big cooker, and we're going to put it in an oven at like 400 degrees because I want to cook it hot and fast for a crispy outside. I might even like brush egg whites on the outside to help it like crisp up and maybe some of the seeds to stick to it that I'd like to put on it. To me, like I said, these are just how my ideas form about recipes in my head. I think of flavors, I think of things to hold it together, I think of healthy things. And I've been watching this guy on TV that was talking about depopulation with bread. He's in France. I'd love to go to France. I'd like to live in France, I think. I don't know. I'd have to go there first. Pretty happy where I am. You know, grow where you're planted sort of thing. But, anyway, this is how I make up my recipes. Then I let you all know. And we'll see how it goes. And I'll be back. And I hope this camera's working. Hello, no, you can't have my peanuts. I just got them out of the oven. Ah, hot. You're a dumb cat.
I don't have high hopes for this turning out. And I normally, you know, if I do something like this and it fails, sometimes I show you my fails, but sometimes I don't. I'm like, it was not worth even trying. So, here it is, brain-shaped. And I am going to, well, you know what? Well, it tastes like pumpernickel. That's for sure. I kind of like that. I hope it turns out. So, I'm going to put a few pitayas on top of it as soon as I wash my hands. Hello, Grandma DC back. Well, I figured I might show you the epic fail on the bread. I really expected it to fail. It was a win-loss kind of thing because the bread itself smells like pumpernickel, tastes like pumpernickel. It's the texture that's off. So win-win with the flavors, fail with the texture, but I know what I did wrong. Can you guess? All you cooks out there, can you guess? I feel like Nixon. I just want to look at you and go, I am not a cook. Oh, bad one, right? Okay, I forgot to put eggs in it. Yes, shoot me now. But that aside, we're going to do it again because I want pumpernickel bread and I'm going to get it right this time. In the meantime, I've taken one of my empties down from the pork rind Tower of Terror. And I went out today and I found these at Aldi's for $1 a bag. It's a 3.5 ounce. And I'm going to stick them all in here.
This is going to be, let's see how many it's going to take. Now this thing as an add-on with, right, scissors are always here. Now they're not here. Oh, grabble. Okay, well, you know what? This is why heavens above gave us teeth. These cost about $6.98, $7.90 something. Let's say $8 to be safe as an add-on. And there's a pound plus of pork rinds in here when you buy them. Plus, I really like those pork rinds. But I think the comparison is comparable. This is going to be $4 and it won't fill it. So I got these. I got these for $1. It may come close to it. And I got the ones at Dollar General for $2. Same ounce, 3.5. So let's see, 3 times 4 is what, 12 ounces? Not quite. I'd have to got another one to make a pound. And another one would have probably filled this, so yeah. One more. Aldi's, get them for $1 a bag. That's awesome. I'm going to grind up these other two. Mother got me these chili lime pork rinds from Menards. And yeah, they're pretty good. They're 0 carb, believe it or not. And they're very lightly chili flavored. But they're kind of limey flavored. I actually kind of like these for snacking, so we're going to keep those. All right, we're going to redo this bread, and this time we're going to get it right. This is the way the process works. I will be back after I grind up some pork rinds and I get all my ingredients together. I hope this camera's working because now it's in pretty dim light in here.
Okay, just so you can see the fail, here it was. See, it's too soft. It's almost cooked for an hour. It's almost gooey, but boy, it smells like rye, and on the outside, it tastes like rye. We had the seasonings right, we just had the texture wrong, so we're going to fix it. Okay, we're going to run through pumpernickel 0 carb bread, or nearly 0 carb bread, ASAP. This time I have the equivalent of 3 whole eggs in here. Yes, they're large. And I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of the Sukrin Gold. This gives it that molasses flavor that pumpernickel bread is known for. Now, like I said, we had the flavor right last time. We just didn't, we left out the eggs. Dumb. I know. All right. Licky finger. I went to the store. I bought some fresh yeast. I'm actually going to add it for the flavor more than anything. And I'm going to put it into just a little bit of warm water and watch it activate. Oh yeah, that's already starting to bubble. So this is a liquid ingredient: eggs, the fiber syrup. We've got our yeast right here. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. This will be our liquid components right here. We may end up having to add a little water just to make it a batter, but you know how it goes. If you watch my show before, you know how it goes. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't go. I'm going to stir these all together here, and as soon as they get all incorporated, I'm going to start adding some flavors into my liquid ingredients here. I'm going to actually write this down this time, and I try to put it in the, thingy strip below. And I'm going to put the liquid yeast in here. Uh-oh. I didn't get it all out. Oh, no. Oh, well. Like I said, it's really more for flavor than anything. Tried and true. 2 cups of powdered pork rinds. You know it. A 1/2 cup of Isopure. You know that also. It's usually 1/4 of Isopure to whatever amount of pork rinds you use. Now that's pretty much my average. Then salt. Here go the flavors. Teaspoon of salt. Big teaspoon of caraway seeds. And if you've got them, a small teaspoon of rye berries or rye seeds. Maybe you have rye flour. I don't know if that'd be flavorful enough, but I am going to put a teaspoon of rye berries in. Never noticed when you spill caraway seeds on the counter, it looks like mouse turds. Just saying. Okay. Now we need a teaspoon of cocoa powder. We don't want it to taste like chocolate, but we want to give it that depth of flavor. And I have the dark cocoa powder, so I'm going to use a pretty small teaspoon. That's it. We're going to stir this all together, and then we're going to add, maybe, if you need to, we'll add enough water to make it into kind of a bread dough. With the yeast in there for the flavor, I'm really hoping it has more of a bready flavor. Oh yeah. I don't think we're going to need to add anything to this. This is going to be fine the way it is. It's going to be a thick batter. See that? But that's okay. You almost let me forget to put the double acting baking powder in. Every single time. Teaspoon. I forget it every single time, and you all let me. Why? And I always end up adding it at the end. Now, I want this to look kind of like an artisanal loaf. That's why I'm not putting it in a bread pan. I just want it to have that sort of rustic, ball look to it. The other one came out looking right and tasting right, but the texture was terrible. Kind of like spongy, like I don't know, like when you make cloud bread, kind of that squeaky spongy. I don't care for squeaky spongy food. I don't know why. Blah. So I'm going to kind of form this up into a dough ball. We could even sprinkle, I'm going to sprinkle some flax seeds on top. This is optional, of course. And then we've got our pumpkin seeds, or pitayas, whatever you call them. And I'm going to sprinkle them on top. Okay. 385 is what I like to cook this at. I'm going to let it sit here for a little bit. Let that yeast kind of work in there. Get the flavors all up and going. Maybe I'm going to let this rest for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to come back, stick it in the oven at 385 degrees. And it's going to probably bake for 45 minutes. Then we'll see if we've got 0 carb rye bread. Why do I make things more difficult than they have to be? Oh yeah. Okay. The beep has gone off. It's been 45 minutes. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Much better than the last one. And it sounds hollow. I wonder if I can turn it out of here. No, it's stuck. Ah, well, that might take a little. You know, it's always going to be, should I let it cool and pry it out, or should I pry it out while it's hot? So a nice crispy outside to it. I did consider doing the egg white wash on it, but then I thought, why? I'm just going to go ahead and, there we go. There we go. There is our artisanal loaf of beautiful pork rind, ketogenic pumpernickel bread. And I have to say, there was a little bit stuck in the bottom here. Save the crispy crust. Oh, there we go. I'm actually going to take a piece of that and give it a try. Pumpernickel. And it's delicious. Oh my goodness. This is better than just plain pork rind bread. That really tastes like pumpernickel. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. Well, thank heavens. I started on a sour note, and I was like trying to make it too complicated, as usual, and it didn't turn out. So I went back to the good old tried and true pork rinds and kept it kind of simple. And there's somebody going, simple? Well, I mean, it is really, if you break it down. The only thing that seems complicated is that you put all the flavorings and stuff in it. You know, the rye berries and the caraway seeds and stuff. But to me, that's all just ribbons and bows. And it's what makes it pretty and tastes good. So, glad I remembered the baking powder. Thanks for reminding me. Mother and I had fun today, out shopping and stuff. And I got to spend the whole day with her. That was awesome. She's doing really good. And when I get this cool off, I cannot wait to have a Swiss cheese on pumpernickel. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe to keep up with the insanity. I love you all. Blessings. Thanks for everything, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you like this one because it's worth a try. Bye-bye.